8 days to go until the midterm elections. President Trump has been hitting the campaign trail every day to rally before the midterms. The recent economic swings put at the forefront for voters. Joining us now is Douglas Holtz-Eakin. He is former CBO Director, former McCain Economic Advisor, and American Action Forum President. Douglas, good to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
What's your outlook for the midterms, Doug?
Well, I think I don't know much more than the experts, and that they suggest that the Republicans are going to lose control of the House. The Democrats will control the House. Republicans could pick up a seat in the Senate, and that'll leave us with a Congress that probably won't have the ability to get a whole lot of legislation done over the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to see the Democrats take the House, which is largely expected, does the agenda that the president has been putting out come to a halt?
It looks that way to me. I mean, it's very unlikely that they're going to pass anything to make the tax cuts permanent, for example, which would be a very good idea. I don't see any real hope for further legislation other than, getting the spending bills done. And that's keeping the government running, and that could even run into some difficulty.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about this spending and these tax cuts, because I know that you've been a deficit hawk, and we want to talk about where we are in terms of the debt and deficits. But we are looking at a potential new tax break for the middle class, which is in the works. Pennsylvania Congressman Scott Perry joined us earlier. He said he's in favor of more tax cuts. Congress needs to focus on less spending. First, listen to this.
You don't fix your overspending problem by taxing people more. You fix that by spending less. And so that's what we really need to focus on. The president offered a budget that spent less, and we didn't take much or any of it up. As a matter of fact, the tax proposal that the House sent the Senate, I think, saved about $400 billion. But yet the Senate sent it back with $1 trillion additional spending. And unfortunately, to get something that allows the people to keep more of what they earn has to make it through the Senate. As long as that's full of liberal folks that don't want to cut spending, we're going to have this problem.
What about that, Doug? Can they stop spending or cut down on spending?
There's no evidence of that so far.
Yeah.
No evidence so far. I mean, you and I have had this conversation before.
Yeah.
They're concentrating on the annual spending, which is a third of the budget. No one's even talking about the 2/3 of the budget that's growing at, annual growth rates for the next 10 years of 6% for Social Security, 5.8 for Medicare, 5.2 for Medicaid. Those are enormous growth rates. They have to come down. That's where the money is, and there's no conversation about that. So I'm sympathetic to the idea that we need a tax code that's permanent. This idea of temporary tax cuts for the middle class makes no sense. They could do some things that sort of built on the success last December, but they really do have to get serious about the spending side, and they haven't.
Yeah, so where are the opportunities to spend less? Let's talk about that, because Maya McGinnis from the Committee for a Responsible Budget is saying that the budget is in an unsustainable long-term trajectory. She writes, the federal debt already high and rising. The country's fiscal outlook in the medium and long terms are both extremely troubling. And they're looking at the long-term outlook. Where is the opportunity to cut spending, Doug?
Yeah, well, for the record, Maya's a crazy optimist. It's a little worse than that, in my view. So, look, it's not complicated. The Social Security program, for example, is promising to cut benefits across the board by 25% for people in retirement in 12 years when it runs out of money. That's a terrible way to run a pension program. So we should fix Social Security. We should fix Social Security right now. There have been 6 or 7 bipartisan commissions that have put together proposals to get that done. That should be number one objective for anybody. Why would we want to have something that retirees can't count on? Then you move over to the next big ones, Medicare and Medicaid. Those are programs that don't serve the beneficiaries very well at all. I mean, we know that our seniors don't get the health outcomes that other country seniors do, yet we spend so much money. Indeed, it has an unrestricted draw in the U.S. Treasury. So the first thing to do is put those programs on budgets, make them live within a finite amount of money and serve their beneficiaries better. And then you can just move across the board, go to the farm programs, go to the annual spending. There's lots of waste in there, and really get serious about running these programs effectively.
Yeah, you need courage to be able to come out during an election year and say, we're cutting back on your Social Security checks and your pension. But clearly, you got to go where the money is. And then there's this global market worrying over trade and tariffs. Senator Ron Johnson told me on Sunday that the president should keep the pressure on China since they pose more than just an economic threat. But is tariffs the answer? Here's what he said, Doug. Listen.
Let's face it, China has been stealing hundreds of billions of dollars worth of our industrial secrets as well as our military secrets. And that is really, I think, the biggest threat we face in terms of our relationship with China. I think the good news is because of public awareness, the gap between those on offense and those of us on defense is quite honestly narrowing. And hopefully, if we have a unified rest of the world when it comes to trade and our dealings with China, we'll discipline them to begin, really adhering to the norms of the rest of the world trading system.
Your take, Doug, is China going to adhere to the norms of the rules of the word on a global basis or not?
Not without a lot of pressure. I think China really does not understand how far it is out of line with acceptable behavior.
You're right.
I think the important phrase there with Senator Johnson was a unified world. I don't think we have that. The administration has correctly identified China as the problem. It has been very aggressive in a bilateral fashion in trying to get China to change its behavior. It's been utterly unsuccessful. I think it will be unsuccessful if it acts only alone. The key is to get a multilateral approach where all of our key allies in Europe and in Japan and other parts of the world agree to enforce better discipline on China. That's not happening right now. That's the missing piece in the strategy.
Yeah. I wonder if, as he continues to do trade deals and confirms these deals with others, like a deal with the EU, like when the new president in Mexico gets into place, whereas you actually see the commerce back and forth from the new USMCA deal, will that bring these countries together in a unified front against China?
It may, but it's a big if. The negotiated USMCA has a provision that says anyone who signs this cannot negotiate a free trade agreement with a non-market economy aimed directly at China. So that makes sense if you can get those deals in place. And I'll point out, Canada and Mexico haven't signed that deal yet. There's been a lot of talk about it, but there's no signature, and it still would have to go through Congress as well.
Right.
Getting a deal with Europe takes time. So all of these things are very time-consuming, and quite frankly, China has a much greater capacity to just wait us out. President Xi is a president for life. Their capacity to directly intervene in the economy is enormous.
Right.
And so I worry about the timetables here, and I worry about whether there's enough pressure from enough countries to get things moving quickly.
Well, we'll be watching that. Doug, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Douglas Holtz-Eakin joining us there.